Hello viewers, welcome back to my channel Stepping Stone Tutorials. Viewers, we are back with another brand new chapter of Class 10 Science. The chapter is Life Processes. Viewers, this is the second video on the chapter Life Processes. Those who have missed out my first video, I'm sharing the link in the description box. Do go back and check the first video. In my earlier video, we have discussed about nutrition in plants. We have seen that plants are autotrophic organisms and they prepare their own food. But animals, they cannot make their own food. They depend on plants and other animals for their food. Now, all the animals, they are divided into three groups on the basis of their food habits. These are herbivores, carnivores, and omnivores. Animals which eat only plants, those animals are called herbivores, like cow, goat, etc. Carnivores are those animals which eat only other animals, while omnivores are those animals which eat both plants and animals. So we human beings are omnivores, right? Now we will discuss how nutrition takes place in unicellular animals. Amoeba is a unicellular animal. The process of obtaining food by amoeba is called phagocytosis, meaning cell feeding. Okay, the various steps that are involved in the nutrition of amoeba or any unicellular animal are ingestion, digestion, absorption, assimilation, and egestion. All these processes are however performed by the single cell of amoeba. Now, the amoeba has no mouth or any fixed place for the ingestion of food. So, how do amoeba ingest the food? By the help of pseudopodia. You can see here pseudopodia. Pseudopodia are false feeds. So, when a food particle comes near amoeba, it ingests this food particle by forming temporary finger-like projections called pseudopodia. Now you can see in the figure that with when the amoeba finds a food, it forms pseudopodia, and with the help of this pseudopodia, it ingests the food, engulfs the food from the surrounding. Now, how the food is digested in the single cell? With the help of digestive enzymes. When the amoeba ingests the food, the enzymes from surrounding cytoplasm enters into the food vacuole and breaks down the food into small soluble molecules. Thus, digestion in amoeba takes place inside the food vacuole, due to which the food dissolves. Now, the digested food present in the food vacuole of amoeba is absorbed directly into the cytoplasm of amoeba cell by diffusion. It does not require any blood system to carry the digested food because it is a unicellular organism. The digested food just spreads out from the food vacuole into the whole cell of the amoeba. Okay. After absorption of the food vacuole will disappear. Now, a part of the food absorbed in amoeba is used to obtain energy, and the remaining part of the absorbed food is used to make the parts of amoeba cell, which leads to its growth and development. Again, amoeba has no fixed place like anus for removing the undigested part of the food. When a considerable amount of undigested food collects inside amoeba, then its cell membrane suddenly ruptures at any place and the undigested food is thrown out of the body of the amoeba. In the last diagram you can see how egestion is taking place, right? Now we will discuss nutrition in human beings. In human beings also, the various steps of digestion takes place. These steps are ingestion, digestion, absorption, assimilation, and egestion. Ingestion takes place through the mouth. We take in food through our mouth. Then digestion takes place in several steps. It begins in the mouth. In the mouth, the salivary gland releases an enzyme called salivary amylase, which helps in the digestion of carbohydrates. The partially digested food reaches the stomach, where further digestion takes place. And finally, the complete digestion of the food takes place in the small intestine. Now, after digestion, the molecules of the food becomes so small that they can pass through the walls of the small intestines and go into our blood. This is called absorption. The small intestine is the main region for the absorption of digested food. The blood carries the digested and dissolved food to all the parts of the body, where it becomes assimilated as part of the cells. This assimilated food is used by the body cells for obtaining energy as well as for growth and repair of the body. Now we know that a part of the food remains undigested in our body. This undigested food cannot be absorbed in the small intestine. So the undigested food passes from the small intestine into a wider tube called large intestine. And finally, this undigested food is passed out from our body through anus as feces or stool. Now we will discuss in detail about the human digestive system. The various organs of the human digestive system are mouth, esophagus, stomach, small intestine, large intestine, anus and rectum. The human beings have a special organ for the ingestion of food. It is called mouth. The food is put in the mouth with the help of our hands. Then the digestion of food begins in the mouth itself. In fact, the digestion starts as soon as we put the food in the mouth. The mouth cavity contains teeth, tongue and salivary glands. The teeth helps in breaking the food into small pieces. Then we chew it and grind it with the help of our teeth. So the teeth helps in physical digestion. The salivary glands in our mouth produces saliva, which contains an enzyme called salivary amylase, which partially digests carbohydrates in food. The function of the tongue is mixing the saliva with the food. Now the slightly digested food in the mouth is swallowed by the tongue and goes down the food pipe called esophagus. The esophagus carries food to the stomach. The walls of the food pipe have muscles which can contract and expand alternately. This contraction and expansion movement of the walls of the food pipe is called peristaltic movement. This movement pushes the slightly digested food into the stomach. Now, the stomach is a J-shaped organ present on the left side of the abdomen. The food is further digested in the stomach. Stomach releases gastric juice which contains hydrochloric acid. Hydrochloric acid creates an acidic environment in the stomach. Now, why an acidic environment is required in the stomach? Because the enzyme pepsin present in the gastric juice can act only in an acidic environment. Pepsin digests proteins present in food. The mucus present in gastric juice protects the stomach wall from the effects of hydrochloric acid. From the stomach, the partially digested food enters the small intestine. The small intestine is the largest part of the alimentary canal. Though the small intestine is very long, it is called small intestine because it is very narrow. It is arranged in the form of a coil in our belly. Now, the small intestine in human beings is the site of complete digestion of food, like carbohydrates, proteins and fats. The small intestine receives secretions of two glands, liver and pancreas. Liver secretes bile, which is a greenish yellow liquid made in the liver and normally stored in the gallbladder. Bile breaks the fats or lipids present in food, and also it makes the acidic food coming from the stomach alkaline, so that pancreatic enzyme can act on it. Now, pancreas is a large gland which lies parallel to and beneath the stomach. It secretes pancreatic juice, which contains digestive enzymes like pancreatic amylase, trypsin and lipase. The enzyme amylase breaks down the carbohydrates, enzyme trypsin digests the proteins, and the enzyme lipase breaks down the fats or lipids in the food present. The walls of the small intestine contain glands which secrete intestinal juice, which completely digest the carbohydrates, proteins and fats, and hereby completing the digestion process. The inner surface of small intestine has small projections called villi, which helps in absorption of the digested food. I have earlier discussed also, after digestion the blood carries this digested and dissolved food to all the parts of the body, where it becomes assimilated as part of the cells. But some portion of the food remains undigested, right? This undigested food cannot be absorbed in the small intestine. So this undigested food moves to the large intestine, and finally it is ejected through the anus. Now, you have already learned in your lower classes that food consists of macronutrients and micronutrients. The macronutrients present in food are carbohydrates, proteins, fats or lipids. A while ago we have discussed about the digestion process in our body, and we have seen the sites of digestion of carbohydrates, proteins, fats and lipids. Again we are going to have an overview of the site of digestion of the macronutrients, because you will get a number of small questions, objective type questions based on this. So carbohydrates. The digestion of carbohydrates begins in the mouth with the help of salivary amylase. Then pancreatic juice contains amylase, which helps in the further digestion of carbohydrates in the small intestine. And finally complete digestion of carbohydrates takes place in the small intestine with the help of intestinal juice. Next, proteins. Digestion of proteins takes place in the stomach with the help of pepsin enzyme. Then further digestion takes place in the small intestine with the help of pancreatic juice, trypsin, and finally complete digestion takes place in the small intestine with the help of intestinal juice. Fats or lipids. Now the digestion of fats takes place in the small intestine. Bile, which is secreted by the liver, and lipase secreted by the pancreas, helps in the digestion of fats. And finally complete digestion of fats takes place in the small intestine with the help of intestinal juice.